downtown where you can get a date for 50, 60, 70, even 80% off the original social marketplace price. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Esteem Season of the Witch Girl. The aspiring angel takes on a wicked teenage witch in this action-packed all-new Esteem series adventure. Pick up your copy of Esteem Season of the Witch Girl in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers today. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. In a previous video, I talked about Club Shay Shay podcaster and former NFL superstar Shannon Sharpe having to deal with allegations of rape and violence alleged by a young white female who was an OnlyFans model. And I wanted to ask the critical question, why does a high-value man like Shannon Sharpe go out here and look to pursue low-hanging fruit like this white female who was a part of OnlyFans? Now, one of the big problems many black men don't want to talk about is the low self-esteem that many black men like Shannon Sharpe have as related to pursuing women in relationships. When many brothers go out here and get themselves established, sadly, their mindset is stuck in a state of arrested development as related to knowing how to be able to have a social relationship with a woman. And sadly, that really leads to those men going not on a road to having success, but winding up on a road to winding up where they possibly wind up losing it all because they're not dealing with the man crisis they're having because they really haven't broken out of their simp phase. Now, when it comes down to guys like Shannon Sharpe, here we have a 53-year-old man who had great success when he decided to walk away from Fox Sports, and a racist in Skip Bayless, who he was partnered with in the show Undisputed. And as Shannon Sharpe stood up for himself as a man and walked away from the Fox News plantation to go out here and start his own thing, he was a man on the road to having great success with Club Shay Shay, his own podcast, and on the road to becoming a high-value man. But the only thing that undermined him was his whole perception of self and the low self-esteem that he had as a man regarding his own image. Because any man who valued himself would not even be looking to even consider any woman who was on a platform like OnlyFans. No, any man who values himself and has self-esteem and good self-worth, when he heard that this 20-year-old woman was on a platform like OnlyFans, he would have basically charged that woman to the game and left her in those streets because that's where she came from. Unfortunately, when it comes to many black men have extremely low self-esteem that was basically started with a foundation in what I call the trauma from mama. And because they have this trauma from mama, they basically are out here looking to try to find any woman that will pay them any attention and again validate them, and that's what leads to them going out here looking to find the easiest woman or the woman who was the first one to pay them any attention without vetting those women for any sort of standard that they have established. And one of the reasons why they don't have any standards is because in many cases these men have no father in their life to teach them their role as a man in God's order, teach them how to be leaders of themselves, and teach them how to be followers of God who will become responsible stewards. These men, since they don't have a father in their life to model manhood for them, they go out here and buy into concepts about manhood, some from their mamas or women in their community, or concepts about manhood that come from white supremacist institutions like Madison Avenue and Hollywood. And as they look to pursue these institutions like that Madison Avenue and Hollywood tell them about manhood, they go out here not looking to go out here and have their own standard as related to what women they pursue. No, they pursue these women based on the criteria of those women basically being ones who will pay attention to them, and two, them being attractive by the Madison Avenue and Hollywood standard, and three, these women looking to give them easy sexual access. And sadly, what they don't see is that the women who are out here looking to give a man easy sexual access and give him easy attention are usually, in many cases, female predators looking to prey on a man who doesn't understand his own sense of self-worth, has no understanding of his value and of a man, and most importantly, doesn't understand his role in God's order. So these are males that they basically can go out here and easily target. And when these men get involved with these women, that's when their life goes from being a place where they're thinking, oh, I'm going to be able to get this hot woman and get some easy draws, to them winding up getting completely screwed over, where they wind up on a road to possibly having to this woman getting pregnant and going on a road to getting easy child support for the next 18 years out of this dude, like what happened in the case of Brittany Renner and that NBA player. She's basically gone out here and gotten herself a payday. And in the case of this white female who Shannon Sharpe got caught up with, this young 20-year-old OnlyFans model, she's looking to go out here and grab herself a big fat bag with the help of Tony Busby, looking to get a big fat bag as related to making an allegation of rape against Shannon Sharpe, looking to make this allegation against this 53-year-old man, looking to go out here and get paid at his expense, because sadly what happened with Shannon Sharpe is he had extremely low self-worth, and because he has this low self-worth, this is why he was again mesmerized by this young 20-year-old white girl's crystal blue eyes and creamy white skin, basically mesmerized by those crystal blue eyes and that creamy white skin, and not seeing that this woman was on a road to bust downtown the minute she says that she was on a site like OnlyFans, because the only women who go on OnlyFans are only women on a road to possible prostitution, because again, a woman of good character ain't going on no site to look to go out here and get the money of cyber simps. But when she saw Shannon Sharpe, she saw a big fat juicy old simp, an old simp that she's basically looking to get a payday of $50 million out of, because she basically heard about Shannon Sharpe and him on the road again making all this money with his podcast and looking to get a payday for herself. But Shannon Sharpe, like many black men, again have this problem of low self-esteem, and again this problem of low self-esteem is why they're out here pursuing this low-hanging fruit instead of establishing and insisting on women meeting their standard, because you as a black man are a leader and a head, and again, as a leader and a head, you have to demand standards for the women who get involved with you. You have to demand standards and establish standards for yourself. But sadly, when it comes down to many black males who grew up raised by single mothers, their whole standard basically is the ability to get this woman to drop the skid mark jockey draws and again get sexual access at this woman's genitals. That's the only standard that they have. And sadly, it looks like to me that as Shannon Sharpe got caught up in alleged sexual deviancy, as alleged by this young white female, how he was caught up in sodomy, and again caught up in not looking to again have a relationship with this woman, but have a place where he can get that power he wanted to have as a black man. This is where he basically wound up on the road to jamming himself up. But the foundation of him jamming himself up has to do with this low self-esteem that many black men have growing up in these homes where they never learn how to have value for themselves as men and say, you know what, I have a standard for the type of woman that is going to go out here and be with me, a standard for, again, my respect, because the whole thing is many of these males, again, don't understand the concept of respect. They don't understand that the foundation of an actual relationship is based on respect. And sadly, since they don't understand that relationships are based on respect, a lot of these guys, because they have low self-esteem, they want to get that power as a man, and they want to get that power as a man where they can be the one who they believe is dominant because they have been forced into this subjugated role by their black mothers and by the system of white supremacy. And the place where they have the relationship with the woman becomes not about sharing love with that woman, but it's all about power, because they, again, have this low self-esteem. And since they have this low self-esteem, they want to get that power by being with whoever will, again, pay attention to them. And as they look to get with this woman who they think is going to, again, give them power, they wind up in getting involved with these predators who are looking to prey on this man because she sees how emotionally vulnerable he is. She sees how emotionally weak this man is. And as she sees that emotional vulnerability and emotional weakness, she offers herself up as easy as related to her body, because this is how she gets her power over that man. And while he's thinking he's putting the carbon rod in the atomic waste reactor or the atomic waste receptacle, he's thinking he's getting power and thinking he's getting control, but she's taking control over that man the same way his mother dominates him, and he can't really see how he's going from one codependent relationship to another because of his whole perception of self. And the big problem with many black men is their perception of self is what puts them on the road to getting involved with these female predators. And they get involved with these female predators because of their low self-esteem. That low self-esteem as related to their image of self, even if they're making hundreds of millions of dollars, because, again, Shannon Sharpe was a high-value man. Again, he was the guy with 6 feet. He was the guy possibly with the 6-inch carbon rod, making 6 figures. And, again, you would think a man who's making hundreds of millions of dollars on an NFL career and a podcast would have an interest in looking for a wife and building a family. And again, you would think a man established at 53 years old, again, wouldn't be even thinking about considering dealing with no garbage woman who says she's an OnlyFans model. I mean, even a guy like me who, again, has been out here running his own publishing imprint, when I hear the word OnlyFans, I'm basically done, because if you don't value you, then I have no interest in considering bringing you into my life, because you're not a reflection of the kind of woman I'm looking for. No, my standard is a lot higher than that. No, if you say you're an IG model or an OnlyFans model, we're basically done at this point. And this is the big problem I'm seeing with a lot of black men. Again, we're not looking at ourselves, whether it be guys like Shannon Sharpe or these what they call passport bros. Again, they don't see how they are the problem as related to themselves. No, they don't have that self-esteem or that self-worth. No, they still see all women through the lens of their black mothers. And because they see all black women through the lens of mama and her trauma and the black women they dealt with in adolescence, they're not seeing women from the perception of a man who has a sense of self-worth to say, God made me a head, God made me a steward, and I have to be responsible for myself. And part of being responsible for myself is having a standard for who I deal with, having a standard who I associate with, having a standard for who I get involved with. That's what a man says. A man has a standard, and as the leader, this is why the women he deals with are a reflection of him. If a man is dealing with women of good character, it's saying that that man has good character because that woman is a reflection of who he is. She's a direct reflection of everything as related to his values, as related to his character, and as related to his integrity. And that's what Shannon Sharpe didn't understand. And that's why he's out here, again, dealing with busted Becky's, again, thinking he's got a prize. When in actuality, again, if this woman is out here showing it off for other guys, and it's basically out here, again, chasing out, picking other simps' dollars, it basically says that he's basically been a simp who was turned into a trick. And when the trick basically was not paying off for her, this is where she decided to bring in the pimp in Tony Busby, looking to go get that payday from this trick. And he basically wound up in this situation because he doesn't have his head on straight. Yeah, he making big money. Yeah, he's, again, a very rich black man, but again, has no wealth of knowledge, or any sort of self-worth, because again, a 53-year-old man should not be dealing with no 20-year-old woman who's on a site like that. If she's on a site like that, that's not a woman you want to deal with. But many black men, we go out here and we deal with these. Once we get some money, we start looking to, again, deal with anyone who will pay us attention because of that low self-esteem, that low self-worth, that lack of, again, self-worth as related to ourselves. And we don't see how the woman we're dealing with is a reflection of us. And again, that's what the big problem with Shannon Sharpe was. Again, here we have a guy who I think was a running back for the Denver Broncos, again, had Super Bowl rings, had, again, great success in broadcasting after this, even went on to have his own podcast, and again, had, even though he had all of these things that would make him a high-value man, his low self-esteem is the thing that led to him winding up getting jammed up like this, because he did not understand his value as a man, did not understand his value as a man to God, did not understand how to be a man of God, because a man of God would not even want to deal with this type of woman. No, he would leave her to the streets, and again, leave her to the streets because she's basically, again, out here looking for an easy payday from a big fat juicy simp, looking for that payday from that juicy simp, looking to get that paper from that simp. And sadly, this is where I talk about in my book, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance. Again, this is what happens to these guys. They turn a simp into a trick, and when they can't get no more from the trick, they look to then play a trick by making themselves out to be a victim. But a man can avoid all of this by, again, having some standards and, again, good sense of self-worth, because a man who has a good sense of self-worth ain't even wasting time with this chick. Once he hears she's an OnlyFans model, he's basically done at this point, not even considering giving this woman a phone number. She's 20 years old. No, he leaves her, again, to the little girls, and goes out here and goes to deal with actual women who want to help him build, women who want to help him grow, women who want to help him get to that next level. That's what a man with self-esteem does. He doesn't waste his time with this type of female. No, he goes out here and understands, again, he has a worth to God. He has a worth to things, and again, he was made for a purpose, and he doesn't want to do anything to derail his purpose by dealing with a predatory female who, again, would turn on him and, again, look to rewrite a story by making herself out to be a victim. But the whole thing is I look at Shannon Sharpe, and again, Shannon, basically his self-esteem is the problem here, because I'm looking at this guy and I'm sitting there wondering, why are you dealing with this type of woman? That's the critical question I always ask. Why are you even dealing with this type of chick? Because any man who has any sort of self-worth ain't even in the place that these females are in. No, a man who loves himself is in a place where women who are looking, who are just doing his business, and quality women will attract to him because this is the energy that he's radiating. The energy he radiates is one that will attract women of character to him, and be one that will attract him to women who want to be helpmeets. That's the energy that he radiates because that's the man he is. And again, a man is a reflection of the type of women he gets involved with. And I have to wonder how little Shannon Sharpe thinks of himself if he's getting involved with women like this. I mean, when I look at Shannon Sharpe, I don't see, again, a man who's a high value man. No, from what I'm seeing, all I'm seeing is a dude who is a man in crisis. Now, if you want to learn how to identify the behaviors of a man in crisis, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. And if you want to learn how to break out of the simp paradigm that Shannon Sharpe is in, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can find both of these books on Amazon in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them in digital format at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And they can transform your lives and help you become a man who can find a quality woman who will be a reflection of you. And if you want to see me make more videos taking celebrities to the barbecue, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Coming to paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer. Take a trip into the macabre world of goth modeling in the new millennium in this all-new Spinsterella story. Pre-order your copy of Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer at Amazon.com and other online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, A Thorn in My Side. The man who rules the world takes on an agent from the CIA, from the Black Boule, in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' A Thorn in My Side in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.